Welcome to Blended Philosophy. The topic for this episode is war. The primary question is, how do we prevent war?
Well, let's get the definition of war out of the way.
So the definition of written here that we can kind of workshop. A violent event lasting at least 24 hours in which two or more parties arm two or more people with at least 3 tools total in an attempt to resolve a dispute.
I don't think there should be a time limit on it.
Let's say it's 5 nukes to eviscerate Singapore.
Yeah.
Someone drops 5 nukes, simultaneous nukes
Yeah.
on Singapore. How long is that war? Like a second? Or the time it takes for the aeroplane to fly over? Or if it's simultaneous, I guess 5 at once? I don't know how
Well, you
nukes
say that
work.
flying the aircraft over. I guess, but it's all how people define things. I would say, well, no, because war is a very political thing.
Well, my thing is, that's over in a second. Or if you want to, well, technically it'd be 3 hours. But, like wherever you draw the line, that's... Singapore basically didn't have a chance
Yeah.
in this hypothetical. They, like, would you even count that as a war?
No, but war is like a very political thing.
You know, like, oh, I declare war on you. So the political statement.
Yeah, okay, so would you count the Cold War? There's nothing... No shots fired. Would you count that as a
Did
war?
they declare war, actually? Because I think that's why it was called the Cold War, because there was no declaration of war. So I'm not sure.
I don't think they did. Oh, where's no when you need it, eh?
No, there was no declaration of war.
But does that mean it's not a war? Because...
I think that's why it's called the Cold War.
Mm.
Because it's like, yeah,
Oh.
because it was
I
just
thought
like,
it was literally there was no firearms. Like there was, but they just didn't go off.
Right, yeah, they didn't shoot each other. I
Yeah.
think that's why it was a Cold War. Well, when I just read it was Cold War because there were chilly relations. Which is, I don't know, but that's probably the first person who coined the term. Was like, oh yeah, they're being very icy towards one another.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a Cold War. Like, you know. But yeah, I think it's, you know, that's just the term. Yeah, it's like they weren't actually fighting each other. But they were, you know, they were both building and there was lots of tension. But I don't think there was no declared war. So I don't know if I would count that as an actual war.
Well, in that case, is war only like after the fact? Like historically? Oh, well, no one declared war, so that one doesn't count.
Well, yeah, how else are you going to call something a war?
And like as it's happening.
Yeah, that's what I declare war on you. I don't know how to, like, people can go, oh, this is an act of war. But, like, it's not really, you know.
So the Cold War, what's the Cold War then?
Because that's just a term people use for the...
Yeah, what term would you use?
For the...
I mean, I kind of agree, I guess.
Oh, no, like, we call it the Cold War, because that's just, you know, what we call that period of time. But I think it was just a period of tense relations.
If I was out at Northbridge and I saw 2 people across the street, I could tell that they were fighting. Like I don't have to be there for the part where they go, oh, you want to go? You want to go? Oh, let's take this outside. I don't have to be there for that part. I can just tell, oh, there's a fight going on over there.
Yeah, that's just a fight. When one of them gets like, you know, when one of them gets like glassed, and it's like a cheap shot, and he goes, "This means war. I'm bringing my boys back."
I think his point was that they don't
Right.
declare the fight.
If there's a war between, like, I don't know, New Zealand and Papua New Guinea,
Well, do you not want to be part of the
honestly, I was going to say if you're on the beach of Queensland, but I don't know how far New Zealand is.
It's actually quite far.
You probably wouldn't see them.
It seems like, you know, I don't know, I always imagine it being like where Tasmania is or something, you know, like that far.
Yeah.
But really it's like, you know, I don't know, about as far as Adelaide.
Even though we're in Australia, it'd be pretty obvious to us that they're having a war. Like, we don't have to go through the UN documents and go, oh yes, they declared war on the 2nd of November. Like, we can just tell, like...
War is the declaration. You know, otherwise it's just, they're just fighting.
So you think it could just be a battle, or maybe someone's gone rogue, or we don't really know. Maybe it's war games, but they've stepped it up a notch.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, the term war itself is the political declaration.
Right. So linguistically, you want to separate what is apparent from what is actually like happened and recorded.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. Like, the war is the, you know, okay, I declare war, and now it's a war. But other than that, it's just like you're fighting.
Yeah, but you can be at war without declaring war. No, you just invade someone's land.
No, that's
Fight back.
an invasion. But it's like we were never at war.
What if they never get around to saying it in the parliament? They never get around to saying it.
Oh, would you
They're
say?
just busy.
Would you
Is
say?
it, and it goes on for 2 years, and they're both of their governments are trying, and
No
they just
one's-
never get around to saying. What if only one of them declares war, and the other one's just like, that's a waste of time.
No,
You know, we've been invaded, a million people are dead. We're just gonna fight, like you know.
But no, if one person declares war, then it's a war.
No, I'm sorry.
If they go like, this is war, and the other guys are, yeah, okay, fuck off. It's still a war, you know, they're just trying to...
Hang on. Let me get this straight. Hypothetically, we declare war on you, make a paper airplane, throw it as far as I can, it lands in like Indonesia or wherever the closest landmass is, and then we're at war. Those two states, Australia and New Zealand or wherever it hits,
Sounds good.
war. Is that what you're saying?
I think you're at war as soon as you write it. And you go like, you know, we're at war with
Are
these
you
guys.
also at war because we're the same citizenship?
What?
Because we're the same citizenship, when I write it.
Oh, well,
Are you
no,
also at
you
war?
obviously have to be representing the country. Like, you have to be representing the government. You can't
If
just
I'm
be,
like-
you can't just some guy go, oh, I declare war.
On behalf of the Commonwealth of Australia, I declare war on New Zealand.
If you got like official letterhead, they might believe it, but...
You need to spend
Then
years.
you'd believe it.
You spend years manipulating the people in government to declare the war. You can't just do it on your own.
If we're going to say war isn't the declaration,
Mm.
then I would say war is some sort of ongoing campaign.
Involves resources of some kind.
I reckon there's been a few wars, really petty wars, just out of like, you know,
Okay, yeah, maybe.
disputes. Yeah,
Okay, I guess the use of resources then.
yeah. Using resources.
And I would say that the war is a political
Two or more players,
entities
two or more entities. Okay.
using resources,
Mm-hmm.
using their resources against one another.
Okay.
Say that's part of the war, is they have to be acting against one another
That rules out my planet theory, so yeah.
for, I don't know, for some purpose, there has to be some purpose.
For a specific purpose. Or
Yeah, for a specific purpose, yeah.
What do you mean by campaign?
Like if I throw a rock at Noah,
Mm.
and then I'm like, okay, I'm done. That's
yeah.
not really a
Even if I
campaign.
throw a rock back, it's not really a campaign.
Yeah.
It's to follow me around
Yeah.
all day.
And then
Throw rocks at
I'd
me.
pay some like crackheads to like break into his van or something, you know.
Like then it would be a campaign.
Meat wasn't there! Oh, that's good. Okay. Is war two or more entities using resources to campaign against each other for a purpose?
Yes. Pose it.
Alright, maybe after, if you're watching this, war is two or more entities using resources to campaign against each other for a purpose.
He's definitely going to argue about that next month.
He
Oh,
doesn't
he should
get
be,
it,
yeah.
so
We all
Stop
would have
doing
been outvoted anyway.
Oh, and just as kind of a bit, Matt and I, because we record these well in advance,